little close in the fourth quarter, but this is how the Eagles pulled out the 38-35 win against Detroit. Jalen Hurts with the first touchdown of the season. Miles Sanders punches it in, his first touchdown in 2 seasons. How about for the defense? James Bradberry, welcome to Philadelphia. Jared Goff intended to hit TJ Hawkinson. Bradberry took it back for a 27-yard touchdown. And how about this, keeping it on the ground? The fourth rushing touchdown of the day came from Boston Scott. All the running backs were eating today. Welcome to the Postgame Show presented by Ricoh. I'm Gabriella DiGiovanni, joined by Fran Duffy and Ike Reese. Little too close for comfort in that fourth quarter, but we saw a full performance from the Eagles today. Much to get to, the strengths and the weaknesses of the first game of the season. Ike, talk to me, man.
Well, a true character-building win for this team. Listen, you want to come out and you like to play flawless football. That's almost impossible. Week 1 of the season. I thought the Eagles came out, took the Lions' first big punch of the game. That opening drive for the Lions, I thought had the Eagles on their heels a little bit, but I love the way that we responded. Got a touchdown back, and then we settled down. And I thought the Eagles gained control of this game for the most part for 3 quarters. Maybe a little guilty of letting our foot off the gas, but that's also something that will be a teaching lesson for this team moving forward. That if you want to be one of those last teams standing, you got to realize you got to play for 60 minutes. 60 minutes. A lot of good things to unpack. I can't wait to get through all those things throughout the show today. But I thought this was a good character-building win for the first game of the season.
We said it in the kickoff show, that this was not going to be like last year. This is not the same Detroit Lions team. This is not the same Philadelphia Eagles team from a year ago. So to come out into this game against a hungry opponent like the Lions and come away with the win, that is big. I agree with you, Mike. That is a character-building win. And three months from now, and when this team, which hopefully will be contending for the NFC East and jockeying for playoff position. All that matters is week 1, you came away with the W at the end of the day. These are the wins that you need to have in the first part of the season. Do whatever you can to come away with it. There were missed tackles. There were bad penalties, sloppy play on both sides of the football, things that will need to be corrected. But most important, you come out with a win, and that's what they did today.
Let's start with the offense. In the kickoff show, Fran and I talked about the obvious of this Eagles run game. We know that's where they thrive. We know that offensive line is built for a strong rushing attack. But we talked about how can they establish a balance. What can we see from Jalen Hurts in the passing game? A.J. Brown, 155 receiving yards, the most of an Eagles receiver in his debut. So we saw the balance start to get established. But what more do you want to see from that receiving crew?
We got to get that passing game together, right? A lot of what we did in the first half was Jalen really keeping drives alive with his legs. We obviously see the connection between he and A.J. Brown, but we have to start to figure out to get the others involved as well. It's going to make it easier to be successful through the air. I thought Jalen started to settle down and started to connect on some passes, so they were certainly able to move the ball through the air. But as you move forward, teams are going to say, okay, we're going to try to stop number 11. Let's see where you can go else with the football. And I thought in this game, Jalen, when Detroit decided they wanted to double A.J. Brown, he was able to get the ball to Dallas Goedert. He was able to dump the ball off to his backs coming out of the backfield. And more importantly, he didn't force anything. And that's what I loved about his game today. It seemed very poised and real collective out there.
Yeah, I think what we saw from Jalen was a lot of what we saw a year ago, where he's got the ability to put the offense on his back when needed. If he's got that free rusher, he can make that guy miss and pick up the extra yards needed, move the chains on first down. So I think we saw plenty of that from Jalen. I love the ability, the hookup already that we saw between him and A.J. Brown. And it's not just, throw the ball over the middle and let A.J. Brown work. We saw A.J. Brown win one-on-one as a route runner. We saw some of those screens and short plays that turned into big gains. And obviously, we saw that 54-yard bomb down the right sideline that helped set up a touchdown as well in the first half. So I think when you look at the way that these two are going to work, it's not going to be like it was in Tennessee with A.J. Brown, where so much of it was over the middle of the field, the play action and RPO, and we're just going to give him the ball and let him run. No, A.J. Brown can do much more than that. You see right there, he can make those plays with defenders on his back, looking the ball in over the shoulder, 30-plus yards downfield. We saw it almost daily in training camp. That continued here in week 1.
Say it with me, fellas. Yards after the catch.
Right.
That's what he had going on today. But now defenses have that on film. So as a former defender, Ike, and you're seeing what A.J. Brown is capable of after the catch, how do you start to game plan for him? And on the flip side of that, then prepare for the other weapons Jalen Hurts has at his disposal.
I want to tread lightly here, right? You started comparing people to T.O. I have T.O. as the second greatest wide receiver ever. No need to debate and argue. That's just my opinion. But that's the type of makeup I see when I see A.J. Brown. Just a strong physical presence. Even when he catches short passes, I don't care if you're a linebacker, you're a safety, you're a defensive lineman, you had better bring everything you have to wrap A.J. Brown up and make a tackle on him because he's not going down. He runs with sort of a tenacity that a running back has, but he also has the ability to get away from you and run past you. I'm excited to watch A.J. Brown moving forward. He made the 54-yard catch today. I thought he did a great job of really hiding his hands until the last second to catch that ball. That's something you see in receivers that have been playing for 5, 6, 7 years. A.J. just in his fourth year, right? I think he's in his fourth or fifth year.
Yes.
Man, this bodes well for him because those are the little nuances of playing that position that he already is starting to master. He's just going to get better moving forward. We know about the chemistry between he and Jalen moving forward. It's going to be a beautiful thing for us.
My guess is it's not going to be like this every week where he goes off for 150-plus yards. DeVonta Smith, we know how talented number 6 is in this passing game and what he can be for this offense. So there are going to be some weeks where both guys eat. There are going to be some weeks where it's an A.J. week. There are going to be some weeks where it's a DeVonta week. At the end of the day, you're just worried about wins. And I know everybody on that offense feels exactly the same way. Really good debut from A.J. Brown. But I think when you look at across the board, I love the fact 4 different guys scored on the ground today. First time, what was that? What was that stat? It was since the 60s?
1961 was the
Insane.
last time that happened.
Love that. This is an offense that a year ago, I know fantasy managers, fantasy football, really annoyed by this offense because of how often it's spread around. My guess is it'll be more of the same here this fall.
455 yards of total offense. We saw it in the air and on the ground. I mentioned this in the kickoff show when I talked to Isaac Seumalo this week. I said, is there anything that's going to surprise us about the Eagles offense in 2022? He said, you're going to have to wait until Sunday to find out. So those rushing touchdowns aren't surprising. That was the identity of the 2021 team. But now how they're complementing that with more of a passing game is going to be exciting to see down the stretch.
Yeah, I'm watching this offense in the first half, and I'm imagining trying to be out there trying to defend the running game, the passing game with Dallas Goedert, A.J. Brown, DeVonta Smith, and then you have a quarterback who's sitting back there who's calm, he's poised, he knows when to take off. If you show him man-to-man defense with your back to him, he's going to take off. He's not afraid to take those hidden yards that you're going to give him. That was huge for the Eagles in the first half. Man, I think Jalen is just operating an offense with such efficiency right now. It makes it difficult for a defense to sort of hone in as to where do you want to try to defend. If you want to load up and try to stop the running game, I'm going to throw the football down the field against you. If you want to try to double on the outside, well, guess what? I got Miles Sanders, I got Jalen Hurts, I got Kenny Gainwell, I got Boston Scott. There's enough offense in that backfield that you can move the ball. And by the way, offensive line, outstanding job today by the offensive line. Dan Campbell, Aaron Glenn specifically as the defensive coordinator, threw everything they could at this Eagles offense to try to frustrate them and get them out of their comfort zone. The Eagles seem to have an answer for it, and I think it started with number 1 in the backfield, because if he's calm back there and he has a full awareness of what's going on, he's going to keep everybody else calm.
And to your point about just how much of a headache this offense will be to defend, 4 guys reached the end zone like we talked about. 3 of them averaged 4 yards a carry. Boston Scott was the only one that did not. You look at Kenny Gainwell, Miles Sanders, Jalen Hurts, and 2 of those guys, Sanders and Hurts, rushed for over 90. So you talk about spreading the love offensively in the run game. Huge job here, great job here by the Eagles offensive front, the offensive line opening holes. We've talked in the past about how diverse this run game is, guys, and I thought we saw a lot of that today. You saw some of the downhill runs. You saw the outside zone schemes. You saw the different quarterback read elements. That's a lot to prepare for. It's a lot of homework for an opposing defense.
We talk about the performance of the offensive line. The Lions were aggressive up front. You got to give rookie Aiden Hutchinson, he played a pretty good game. I mean, he's going against 2 tackles who are some of the best in the NFL, and he held his own for sure. And then Tracy Walker, before, of course, he was ejected in the second half. He led the Detroit defense in total tackles with 13. He got to Hurts one time. He sacked him. So they were aggressive from the Lions' defensive perspective.
And we knew that's how they wanted to play, right? We've had a chance to watch Hard Knocks. We've all seen it. But just think about the personality of those coaches. They're trying to establish a new culture there. And I'll give them credit. They were aggressive. I think it cost them at times. The Eagles were able to take advantage of that. But this Lions team came out game. They didn't give up. They fought all the way through. And I thought it was a good test for the Eagles early in the season to get a young team with really nothing to lose in the Detroit Lions. To me, it prepares the Eagles moving down the road. You have to realize you're going to need 4 quarters of good football play. And better yet, when you get up on a team, I don't care if you're up by 17. It's never over in this league. And week 1 is the strangest week of the entire NFL every year because you don't know how a team is going to come out and perform based on what they did in the preseason. So this is a game that we'll look back, like Fran said earlier. We'll look down the road. It won't matter that it was a 3-point game. I love the fact they put up 38 points today.
Yeah, no doubt. I think when you look, you mentioned the identity of that Lions defense and how you don't know what to expect. I feel the same way looking at this Lions offense. The way that they ran the football, I'm not talking about from an efficiency standpoint. I mean, stylistically, that wasn't really the way that they played a year ago in terms of all the different gap scheme runs downhill. They talked about it on the broadcast, a whole bunch of traps and whams and different ways to try and block up the Eagles' defensive line. They really changed the way that they tried to attack opposing defenses here in this game. Thought the Eagles adjusted. Obviously, again, they got to clean up some of these missed tackles. That was an issue here in this game. They gave up too many of those X plays on the ground. But overall, I liked the way that they were able to rebound and they made stops when it mattered, both first half and second half.
Good segue into the Eagles' defensive performance. Let's talk a little bit about the run defense. Now, we saw this was a bit of a struggle for the Eagles' defense at the beginning of last season. They got into a rhythm halfway through and were able to clean it up and be more efficient in the run game. Today, they struggled a little bit against DeAndre Swift. I think it was interesting because you saw when they were able to pull DeAndre Swift out of the equation, Jared Goff didn't have many options. And when you look down the road and you see the Eagles' opponents coming up, they have Jonathan Taylor in the Colts, Derrick Henry in the Titans, Saquon Barkley and the Giants. They're going to be in positions against really good running backs in the future. So what's going to be the key moving forward to be able to stop the run?
Well, you got to do it on first and second down. I thought some of those runs came when the Eagles thought that the Lions would be throwing the football. So you're in a little bit of a pass defense, whether you're blitzing and it's a pass blitz, and the Lions, give them credit. They run those traps, they run those draws, and DeAndre Swift, my goodness, he is dangerous once he gets in the open field as a big back. But the Eagles will be okay. This is one of those games, I'm telling you, as the first game of the season, I'm not completely surprised by this. We knew the Eagles, the Lions with Jamal Williams and Swift, that would be the strength of this offense today. The strength of that Lions offense isn't putting the ball in Jared Goff's hands and letting him throw. It's to try to get the ball to those running backs as much as possible. And with the way preseason goes, I'm not surprised there's missed tackles out there. I'm just not. Not that it's acceptable, but it's somewhat understandable when you're sacrificing your health and making sure your roster is full when you get to that opening week to make sure you keep your guys healthy. You're going to have some missed tackles in week 1, but I'm sure Jonathan Gannon, another teaching point for the guys moving forward.
No doubt. And some of those runs, we mentioned the different trap schemes and wham schemes that they ran. Those schemes are all about trying to get the running back up to the second level with a head of steam to try and get him one-on-one with a corner, one-on-one with a safety, one-on-one with a nickel, because you like that ability. Oh, you know what? We're going to try and make those DBs try and tackle one-on-one. Sometimes the Eagles were able to get those guys to the ground. Sometimes they weren't. So I think going back, that will be the big coaching point, like Ike said, trying to improve that tackling at the second and third level.
These safeties. Marcus Epps, 10 total tackles today, and then Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. He just got off the plane, it feels like, a few minutes ago. He's out there making plays, 5 total tackles on the game. We're going to get more into the safety position, but first we're going to hear from A.J. Brown at the podium.
Afternoon. To be honest, I didn't. We had a game plan, but sometimes the ball just keep finding you, and I got hot kind of early, so I feel like he did really well. The atmosphere was crazy. We barely could hear him, but how he managed the game, and I think he did really well. I'm sure he's gonna say it wasn't good enough, but that's the mentality he has, and I'm great he has that mentality because all of us, it wasn't good enough, That's how we're going to look at it.
AJ, what were the emotions like going into the game, not just like playing for the Eagles for the first time, but also
Just thankful. I get another opportunity, play the game that I love. Just thanking God so much. This is my job. For me, it's the best job in the world, and just giving thanks to God for another opportunity to showcase it.
What were you guys saying? As you was touching go a little bit earlier on, and then also later on. What were you guys saying? What was Jalen saying? What were coaches saying? To keep you guys in this game.
We're just trying to just tell each other just to stay calm and stay relaxed. Emotion was running high first drive, and that's a part of it. And everybody just needed to just settle down and just relax. I think tonight was sold out, and like we said, we couldn't hear nothing. If I'm talking to you, I couldn't hear it all. So shout out to them for that. But we're just trying to just stay poised the whole time. So.
As a follow-up to that, after that tough first drive, they hit you with 2 passes across the middle. What did that do for the offense on the second drive?
For me personally, it got me going. I like to try to touch it as early as I can. There's just something about it. I get going soon, quick. So.
AJ, what does it mean to you to be? I don't know if you even call it a record. For your first game, you had more catches or more yards than any other receiver in your history in your first game.
I give my credit to God. I know it's some greats that played here before me, and it's kind of overwhelming that I get to scratch my name in that book. I'm blessed. So.
AJ, what do you kind of make of the offense? I mean, after you guys put up 38 points, you did running, passing, a lot of different things. Like, what does that say about your offense in general? Was it anything new that you thought?
No, I mean we knew we had weapons on offense, and like today was my day. Next week it could be Devontae's day or Dallas' day. And Miles had a good job running the ball, and such as Kenny and such as Scott. So we have a lot of skilled players on offense, and just trying to get them the ball, get everybody the ball. It's probably just really hard on Shane because he's trying to get everybody touches, and to be honest, but I think we did really well. It's always some stuff we need to clean up and finish drives. Like I feel like we should have finished in the red zone, and we left too many points out there. But it's hard to win in this league. And I'm gonna take this dub. To be honest, I'm gonna take it because it's so tough. They are professionals too.
AJ, this was your first time seeing Jalen in a live context. Obviously on the same team.
Mm-hmm.
How much does his athleticism open things up? And how much did that help you guys?
Oh, he had some big third down runs, scrambling. When I saw him take off, and look where he needed to get, I said, I'm pretty sure he's going to get it. If you look on the film, you see me, he takes off, I'm like, okay, first down, let's go. That's what I expect from him. So.
How good was that throw that at the end of the first half there, that 54 yards?
That was a dime. Fell out of the sky. So.
In camp, you spoke about late hands. Was that an example of it on that play?
Not right there, but you'll know. He starts, you'll know. He'll kind of be out like draped over me. I kind of got a little separation late, and I made the catch.
What did you see on Miles Sanders 30? His first down pick up there on third down like 2 years ago? It seemed like he was stopped.
Oh, that was a big run. We needed that. To take the life out of the building. We needed that, and he did a great job. O-line did a great job, and we sealed it.
What does Jalen say? The last drive, you have to either run out the clock or score. What is Jalen saying in the huddle with you guys?
I wasn't even in the last drive, to be honest, so I don't know what he was saying. So.
I didn't realize you were.
Nah, I wasn't in.
These next few days, what are they like for you?
Watching a lot of film. As soon as I get on this plane, I'm gonna watch this film and try to dissect myself. What I can do better, clean it up. I'm gonna flush this game behind me, and just go to work.
You said you had a hard time hearing him sitting here.
No.
How much did you work on that silent count stuff?
We worked on it through the week. But playing music is totally different from fans screaming. So But we needed that. We needed that from the first game. It showed us a lot about ourselves, the resilience we had, the fight we had. So.
We'll take one more if you got it.
Jalen obviously makes a lot of plays with his arms and his legs. How about how he throws the ball away to save sacks or just live the play?
A few times he was running, and I don't think he was going to get in the yards, and he threw it away. That was really smart on his behalf. He's just making plays. I expect that from him. Yeah. The quarterback's supposed to know that, and he did that.
All right. Thanks, AJ.
Thank y'all.
A.J. Brown said today was his day, but judging by the weapons on this offense, next week it could be Devontae's day. Maybe it's Dallas Goedert's day. Maybe it's Miles Sanders. It's such an asset to have these type of weapons, obviously, yes. Right? But to have the opportunity to mix it around, especially when you're a head coach like Nick Sirianni, who comes from an offensive-minded coaching tree, once he starts kind of getting into his groove, it really allows for creativity on the offensive side of the ball. How do you see him trying to start taking these pieces and making something of it to really keep defenses on their heels?
Well, I mean, listen, it's going to change from week to week, and that's dependent on the game plan that they're going up against, right? Every defense has areas of weakness, and when you study those tendencies, the great thing about the offensive weapons that we have is that they're so versatile. You need a big play guy, you need a deep threat guy, you need a tough guy going over the middle, yards after the catch. We have all those in our arsenal. So Nick Sirianni and Shane Steichen are going to have the ability to dive deep into the playbook and really expose areas of weakness versus that team's defense. And we saw that on display today against the Detroit Lions. I'm telling you, I was trying to envision myself as a defensive coordinator and figuring out how do you slow down what the Eagles are trying to do right now. And it's very difficult when you run the ball as well as they do, and then they're patient with their passing game. We called a lot of passing plays in the first half. We just didn't necessarily get the ball spread around to just about everyone. That's going to change week to week. I love the makeup of the personality on that side of the football, meaning those are unselfish players. Yep. They want to root for each other, and when they see one of their teammates having success, they get the fulfillment out of that as well. But as Jalen Hurts is the quarterback, he knows this. He played at Alabama. He played at Oklahoma. He knows a little thing or two about spreading the football around. You're going to have to keep those other guys happy at some point. And I tell you, it's a problem that we would all love to have. We talk about having multiple weapons. Well, now we have multiple weapons, and now the coaches get to sit back and figure out how do we get each of these guys involved each week?
We talk about it all the time as if it's a strength. Coming in and you have all these weapons. Well, you're not going to be able to get the ball to all these guys every single game, right? And so that is going to be the beauty of this offense when you're on the Eagles side, and it's going to be the thorn in your side if you're the opposing defense trying to get ready for it every single week.
And if you want to know how much these guys love Jalen Hurts as their quarterback, just see what happened after Tracy Walker came in in that late hit against Jalen Hurts. Dallas Goedert, you could see the steam coming out of his ears after a play like that. But that's how much they love him. That's how much they trust him. They've made that very obvious through their words and the way they go out there and play for him. Well, before we heard from A.J. Brown, we started to dive into the safeties. What did you think of their performance today, Ike?
I thought they played well early in the game. It's always the devil's in the detail, right, when you see safeties have a lot of tackles.
Right.
Because it's like, okay, was he close to the line of scrimmage where he's making plays within that 5-yard box or on the offensive side of the football, or is he making tackles way down the field? So I'm sure the coaches will be able to dive into the film. But I thought, listen, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, man. We're going to have fun watching him play this year, man. He is everywhere. He's out there full of energy. I think the defense feeds off of that. I think Marcus Epps is an underrated player. He's flying around making plays. I think it was him on the third down play before they scored. I know Detroit eventually scored a touchdown, but he made that big third down stop when they were down there near the end zone. So I thought the safeties played well. Again, I don't want to come off as if I'm giving them an excuse, but when you come out of training camp and you don't do a lot of tackling, some of these things are somewhat understandable and correctable. So moving forward, Obviously, you want to be much better tacklers, but I thought the guys made their presence felt out there on the field.
Yeah, there were a handful of plays where the safeties, to me, really stood out. There was a third down conversion where it was an incomplete pass over the middle of the field. I thought both guys broke on the ball perfectly. It was a crossing route in the deep part of the field. Both Marcus Epps and C.J. Gardner-Johnson both did an outstanding job. Marcus Epps had a really nice blitz and a tackle for loss on a screen play from the slot. And then that play at the end, the penalty that was called on C.J. Gardner-Johnson, a little bit questionable in my mind. We were talking about it a little bit in the studio, but they didn't come back to bite the Eagles too bad in the end. But I think ultimately, good debut from those two new starting safeties.
And actually, CJ played a little more than I thought he was,
Sure.
right? But, I'm not surprised that he played, but I'm actually happy that he was able to get acclimated. They were able to put things in this defensive package that could highlight some of the things he does as well as make him comfortable out there on the field. We want to enjoy watching 23 out there.
Let's hear it. Let's hear what Coach has to say. Nick Sirianni's at the podium.
Some of the guys in the locker room would be, hey.
Nick, there's been a lot of talk this offseason about Jalen's improvement. Today was the first time real game. Without looking at the Jay portion there, I think we saw where you noticed that.
Yeah, shoot. I thought he was in complete control of checking the plays, getting to different things, knowing what the defense was doing. Did it work every time we checked to a play? No, but that's on us as coaches. Like we're telling them to get to something versus a certain look, and if it doesn't work, but he had complete control of what was going on out there today. He saw the field perfectly. He really did, and I'm really talking more about you're doing this, we'll do that. You know what I mean? And he's going to have plays that he wants back, and we're going to have calls that we want back. But I thought he played a really outstanding game.
How big were his legs today?
Man, really big. And then, and then obviously we got that big roughing or what do you call it? Unnecessary roughness. But that turns into frustration, right? When he keeps getting out and go and boom, and it turned into a big play that ended up being a scoring drive for us. And so his legs were huge. What an unbelievable thing to be able to have as a coach. Oh, we called that, didn't work. He made it right.
AJ was talking about just the noise. How difficult was the environment so you couldn't hear it all?
Yeah, it was loud. Yeah, and you know what? The Lions, the people of Detroit, they came out for this game, and we obviously knew it was going to be like that. We practiced, we knew about the sellout, and we knew it was going to be like that. We practiced the crowd noise. I'll see if I can get the equipment guys to turn it up even louder. But it was rocking in there, and that's what you want. I mean, that's pretty. I mean, obviously you don't want that as a visiting team, but everybody wants that as to play in front of the entire world and play in front of a rocking crowd like that on the road, and to be able to come out with a victory is big.
So as a coach,
Go ahead.
As a coach, is that something good? You get the win, but you have some teachable moments, so you had a couple delayed games.
Yeah, gosh, those pre-snap penalties, we count those differently than we count anything else. That's something that those will go on the board by themselves. Like, here's the pre-snap penalties because you're in control of those, and it's not, and it's coaches, starting with coaches, having not communicating well enough on the 12 men in the huddle, or getting the play in a little bit late, and that's not on Shane, or it might be on me saying, hey Shane, get to this, and so that happens, and we got to be better as coaches on that, but we'll clean that up, and it's always better to be able to clean it up, obviously, after a win. And and it feels like you can even be a little bit harder after a win, and to make sure that those don't happen again. And so pre-snap penalties are detrimental, and we'll try to cut as many of those as we can out.
Nick, 35 more pressure on you guys. Your defense or your defense?
I thought their defense did a really nice job. They did some things that made it difficult for us. I think Aaron Glenn's a really good coordinator in this league. And so I really thought that they did a nice job of having some answers on some third downs, and kudos to them. I know they're well coached, and I know what you're trying to get me to answer, but I already answered it. Yeah. Yeah, no, their defense made it hard.
When looking at your defense, what do you think were some of the struggles there in the second half?
Obviously I'll have to go look at the tape. We just needed a stop in a certain area, and so I'll look at the tape and see what was going on. And but it was just they made some good plays. That's a good offensive line. That's a top-notch offensive line. I'll always take my offense, the Eagles' offensive line over anybody in the league. But that's a good offensive line. They got a lot of talented players over there, and so they did it. And I think the kid from Philadelphia is a really, really outstanding back. And hats off to Ben Johnson, their coordinator. I think he's a really good. I think he knows what really is good in and out with the run game and stuff like that. And so, got a lot of respect for that team. But we'll look at it. We'll clean it up. And like I said, it's always nice. Nice to know that hey, we got a lot to clean up, and that's offensively, defensively, and special teams. But we were able to get a win. And in this league, on the road, on your first game, we'll take it any way we can get it.
How much did you communicate with Jonathan throughout the game?
Yeah, I'll talk to him about situational things, here and there. They're the ones that studied it all week, though, right? And we talk early in the week, and I talk to him early in the week about things that are. And as an offensive coach, it's not my expertise, but offense is. And so I'll talk to him about what's tough for the offense and this and that. And they're the ones that studied it all week. And so I'll make some. Obviously, I'm the head coach, and my name's on everything. And so I'll make some. I'll just talk to him over there and see what's going on, see what we need to do to adjust. More asking questions, just pose, what are we going to do to adjust this and that. So that's more the extent of it. Hey, Zach. You know I won't miss you, Howard.
Some of us, the decisions there, especially on the last drive, what factored in the aggressiveness of this situation?
Yeah, faith in the players, and we'll just be aggressive because we trust that offensive line. We trust Jalen. We trust the backs. We got one of the best blocking tight ends in the NFL, and he just so happens to be one of the best receiving tight ends in the NFL. And so it's just faith. It's just faith, and how do you build that faith? You build that faith through practice and through training camp, but you also build it off of past experiences of like, hey, last time we were in this scenario in Washington on the 4th and 2, we got Boston the ball and he went and scored. So it's faith. I mean, it's accumulated reps, and so I got so much faith in this offensive line to be able to operate. We trust them.
Last one, first impressions of Kaiser White and James Bradbury, both of them, connected on that big six.
Yeah, that was cool, right? I mean, to get all those new additions to make the plays that they were making, that was a huge play, right? And we talked a lot about ball security. Ball security, we don't talk about anything, and taking the ball away, we don't talk about any fundamental more than ball security, because we know that that's the difference in the game. And today it was the difference in the game. We had we created one turnover, and we took care of the ball on offense. And so offense did a really nice job of protecting it, and defense got the big one to put us up 21-7, and that was a huge swing in that game. And it was great to see New Eagles doing that, right? And that's why we brought him here. Howard, what's up? No, I can override, Bob.
We got slam hallway. With all the talk this week about expectations, did you think it had anything to do with the slow start? All that drama this week.
So I don't at all. My head coach from college, Coach Karras, I asked him. A couple guys I talked about. Hey, what does it take to win the first game? And I asked Coach Wright. Jay Wright was a great resource for me. To be able to call one of the best college basketball coaches of all time and ask him philosophy questions of coaching. I mean, that's a special thing. I'm just glad he's an Eagles fan. But I talked to those two guys, and I talked to a couple other coaches as well. And Coach Karras really made it. He told me some great things, and one thing he said, in addition to the great things he said to me, was, if they get a fast start and you don't, so what? Keep playing. The game's 60 minutes. Keep playing. And so, you obviously want to always get a fast start, right? But that just echoed in my head. Like he's been coaching me for 25 years, it seems like, right? And he's still coaching me. And I'll keep the conversation between Coach Wright and I private, but exactly what him and I talked about basically happened in this game, and we can talk about that. We can talk about that later. So I appreciate that. Todd Haley helped me out a lot as well. With just that opener. I know you guys asked me last year, like, you don't have any other head coaches on this staff. Don't you need an older staff and a staff that can help you out in it? I got great mentors, not good mentors, great mentors. I got one of the best college coaches in college football history. I got one of the best basketball coaches. I got Todd Haley. I got Frank Reich. I got a ton of them. And so thank you for asking that question because I love bragging on them. And so just happy to be 1-0 right now, and we'll get back to work. We're going to enjoy this one and get back to work.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Slay, what was it like out there? It seemed like a raucous environment.
It was nice, man. Had, competing, fun. It's finally good to go out there and compete at a high level, man. Week 1, so it was a lot of going on.
AJ said it was difficult communicating. Was that the same way for the defensive side?
Not too much because of the fact that we on defense, so they kind of quiet with the offense out there, so we kind of can hear each other a little bit. But other than that, we still got to communicate a lot better though. But it wasn't that hard to talk to each other because the offense on the side be quiet.
On the third down defense, what needs to get better?
Huh?
Third down defense, what needs to get better?
We just got to minimize penalties. We had a penalty, gave up a 3rd and 12 run, stuff like that. That stuff you just got to clean up. Details. But that's extended the drive because there's a lot of times we should have been out for the field on 3rd down. We all know that, and we just got to execute our job better. That's on us as the players because we out there on the field. Coaches give us a call and we just execute it, and we just got to we just got to make the play.
The lines kept coming back. It seemed like in waves every time you guys would do their accounts. What were you telling you guys in the secondary?
I just know this organization and how it is. These guys always go fight, and that's what we've been doing since I was here. But they're never going to quit. So I told the guys, man, we just got to keep moving our head forward, man, and keep our head down and just go at it, and compete because they're not going to stop. So that's what they did, and that's why I gave them a close game, and we got to just execute a lot better at the end.
You guys handled them pretty well last year. How different? How much more improved do you think the team is this year compared to?
It was week 1, and so new OC for them. So we ain't know too much about their offense too much. So we're trying to put it together, But they good, man. They got a lot of upside on them, man. They got guys that go compete, go play at a high level, and I'm looking forward to hoping they have a successful season over there, So, but yeah, good.
CJ had a tough time, 10 days. How do you think?
Who?
CJ, Chauncey.
Yeah. Call him CJ. That was going on.
Only had 10 days to get ready.
Right.
He was out there. How do you think?
It was great, man. Communication. We just always got to do better with that. But other than that, man, he did what he supposed to do. Come out here and execute, play hard. That's all we're looking for out of him. He only got here 10 days ago. We just knew he had to have great effort. Run to the ball, see ball, get ball kind of guy. So we just try to make it simple for him. And doing this, we go continue to keep trying to improve him, catch him up on the defense, and understand each and one of us as a player, so we can go out there and execute at a high level.
It's like you guys were on a lot of golf classes. You had a New York pick.
Yeah.
What did you see from him that allowed you guys to kind of hone in on where he was going?
Just knowing him as a person, as a player, he's been in the league long enough, so we watched a lot of film, kind of throws he likes and all that. And he made a great throw on me. That touchdown was a great pass. Other than that, he made some good throws, but he got a lot of potential. Guy always had a nice strong arm, and he's very accurate. But like I said, we just got to execute our job too.
You're no stranger to these fans. I mean,
Nah.
obviously, standing room only, the place was crazy. What did this sound like on the field? How insane was this Detroit crowd?
It's always insane. It was cool. Ain't same thing as Philly. They got the same thing going on at home games too. So it was just great to be back here, man. Coming out with a dub for sure is even better. I could go home and celebrate that.
All summer you saw AJ on the other side. This being his first game, is that what you expected?
Oh, always. I expect that for all the guys in the group, though. The whole receiver corps, they special over there. And, AJ is a special one as well. So I expect them boys to just dominate each and every week. Because them guys work hard, shoot, man, we be getting out there in practice. So the only thing we could do is go up. We could keep competing with both of us, with me and JB, AJ and Smitty and Quez and Tay. All we gonna do is continue to keep getting each other better in practice. So the sky's the limit for both our groups.
I'm guessing you want that one pick back, that one.
Yeah, man. So right when I turned around, it was right there on me. I just saw it and I just dropped. But yeah, I got to lock that in because that extended the drive and they scored. And, I could have got us off the field right then. So that's why I said we got to execute, man. That was on me on that drive because I should have picked that for sure. All right.
That was Darius Slay after making his return to Detroit, where he spent many seasons. But let's go back to head coach Nick Sirianni. He was asked about Jalen Hurts' performance. He said he played an outstanding game. He said he saw the field perfectly. When we look at the Eagles' success in third down, they were 10 for 17 on third down today. Last season, they finished 2021 ranked 4th in the league on third down percentage. How have you seen their development just through one game?
Well, it starts with the quarterback, right? You're going to get different looks from the defense. Sometimes they're going to bring extra pressure. Sometimes Jalen is going to have to sit back there and read through that zone coverage and know to go exactly with the football. And I thought today, Detroit, I know they wanted to put the pressure on Jalen and try to speed up the process in his mind. I thought it backfired on him. They were in man coverages behind some of those pressures, and Jalen, being smart, not getting rattled, he used his legs when it was an opportunity there for him. So, when you're facing this offense, you're going to have to pick and choose your poison as to how you're going to try to slow him down. And I thought Jalen, operating the offense today with efficiency, was calm. He was poised back there, ran when he needed to run, didn't try to do too much, got rid of the football on some of those scramble plays as opposed to trying to play hero ball at times. And then when opportunities presented itself down the field, I thought he was pinpoint accurate with his passes.
Yeah, Eagles were 10 for 17 on third down, which is a good number to have coming out of week one. 10 of those conversions, Three of those plays were Jalen Hurts scrambling. One was 3rd and 15. The other two were 3rd and 5. So that ability to create, certainly an element that he brings to this Eagles offense. 3 of those conversions went to A.J. Brown. One was a great route, a slant in the red zone. The other was that 54-yard catch over the shoulder, perfectly placed ball. A.J. talked about that in the press conference. We heard from him earlier. And then you get to Dallas Goedert, Miles Sanders. They were both involved on third down as well. So the Eagles spreading the love there on the money down, the most important down in football.
You know what I love after a win? What players put out on social media. New Eagles linebacker Kaiser White is hitting Twitter. Here we go. Fly Eagles fly, baby. 1-0. Love this squad. Ike, what
hashtag right, though. We'll get him right, though.
We'll get it figured out.
Yeah.
All right. Ike, what did you think about the linebackers today?
Flying around. Love T.J. Edwards, man. He's usually around the football. I thought Kaiser did a nice job, obviously, playing in the passing lanes, getting his hand on that ball and tipping it up for James Bradbury to get that pick six back there. Much like what we saw on the offensive side of the football, or what we've talked about on the offensive side, where it's going to be a different guy each week. That's what has me excited about this defense as well. I think there's just going to be a different guy each week that has the ability to step up and make game-changing plays. Slay did take advantage of his opportunity. I know he's going to be kicking himself about that. That won't happen very often. Bradbury gets the pick there. I thought there was a lot of pressure on Jared Goff. Just guys flying around everywhere. And I love what Jonathan Gannon did with the scheme today. He attacked. He came down. He said, you know what? We're not going to sit here. We're going to come after you a little bit today as well. And I just want people to understand, when you do that, there's a flip side to that. You kind of leave yourself exposed in certain areas on your defense, and maybe that's where some of those big plays came at against us. But I love the fact we came into the game with that in our arsenal, and I thought in the first half the defense really, after that first drive, put on a dominant performance.
That's the thing, is when you have those aggressive defensive fronts like what the Eagles put on display today, you're going to get a lot of those traps and those wham plays. We know it's a copycat league. The Eagles will probably see more runs like this in the coming weeks. But the big part of that, just going back to your original question, Ella, talking about the linebackers, I'm excited to go back and watch the tape because with all of those traps and whams, the big part of that, it's not just about the aggressiveness of the defensive line and getting offensive linemen coming across the formation, but then the offensive linemen that are in the middle and the inside, they're going right up to the linebacker. They're not touching the defensive lineman. So T.J. Edwards, Kaiser White, those guys were going to have offensive linemen in their lap all day today. I'm excited to see how those guys fared. I thought we saw some really good flashes from T.J. Edwards playing downhill. I thought we saw some good flashes of Kaiser White as well. So I am excited to go back and see that element of this run game.
And coming off of what Fran just said, you get those offensive linemen getting up to the second level on our backers. As much as I love our athleticism, our speed, some of the things that we can do from a coverage standpoint, even using that athleticism, the one thing that would have me concerned, we're not the biggest at the linebacker position. So when you get those 300-pound offensive linemen on you, as a linebacker, you're deciding, am I taking this guy on head up, or do I try to get to a side so I can make the play? The problem is with the running backs in the NFL today, they're so patient. They do a great job. Once you show color to where you are, they go the opposite way. So we got to do a better job of keeping those offensive linemen off our linebackers, because I think running down here and playing free is our strength versus thinking we're going to win a lot of one-on-one matches versus offensive linemen.
Well, a guy who made his return from injury today, Brandon Graham, also returning to his hometown. We'll hear from BG at the podium now.
Huh? Oh, no, ain't no gators. I ain't got the gators.
What was it like being back out there?
Man, it was so cool just to be in front of my hometown. Got the dub. I mean, it was a heck of a game from, both parties, both teams, and we got some stuff we need to work on, but I'm just, how hard it is to win in this league. It could have went the other way for us, and we could have been sitting 0-1. So, I take it a win is a win. We're going to clean it up, but I'm just happy the way we fought it to the end. You know what? I felt like we left some plays out there, but at the end of the day, they made some plays too, just to keep the game in, because when we was up, we should have kept the 17-point lead, but at the end of the day, like Coach said, when you mess stuff up and you're not on your details, that's when stuff starts slipping away. But I felt like the Lions did a great job just sticking to their game plan. We got to make sure we clean up running the ball, because 150-some yards is not acceptable. But we know we need to work on, and they ran some stuff that the first game of the season, you want to see what they're trying to do, and now we got some film, and now we can kind of, see what other guys going to try to do for the next game. And, as you keep going in this league, people start to show what it is that they do, and, see what the new stuff is that they're running this year, and the Lions did a great job today.
What do you learn about the team coming into this environment, having played very
Yeah, it's the NFL, man. Just when you think you got a team, it's like, man, it can get ugly real fast, because they professionals just as much as us. So we got to make sure we stay focused on every little detail that, that could hurt us, in the end. So I felt like for us, it was just nice that everybody was just positive with each other. Nobody was pointing fingers when stuff happened. We just said we got to get a stop. We got to get a first down. In that case, when the offense was out there to win the game, and I'm just happy that we knuckled up and went out there and delivered our last blow to the end.
People might say, like, this is kind of a product of preseason where not a lot of reps for starters, not a lot of tackling to the ground.
Well, we don't make excuses around here. We just know that we just trying to be healthy at the end of the day to get to the first game, and whatever it is that we need to fix, we'll fix it, especially if we get a win. We always looking to try to get better each and every day. So I just can't wait to watch the film and see what I need to work on, because it always starts with yourself first, and then, just start making sure that you getting ready for the next game so that you don't keep making those same mistakes.
Did you have any kind of view on Bradbury's pick six?
I was on the field. All I remember is just as soon as I seen him running the opposite way, I heard the cheering. I didn't see that Kaiser tipped the ball and then he caught it. All I just remember just seeing him running, and I was like, oh, and I turned and blocked the guy, and we was just trying to make sure he got in his zone. So my focus was just trying to make sure I got a man to block so that he can get to the zone.
What do you think about Chauncey? He was here for 10 days. I think he played every single play.
Yeah.
Brings the same kind of energy as you.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see?
I see, like you said, the energy is real. It's not fake. I love that he's showing his personality. As soon as he got here, he felt like felt right at home. And so it was just cool that he didn't come in not being him. And so with him, he came in shape because, I mean, for him to play every play, he made some plays out there. And I'm just excited for him to just keep getting better every week and keep learning some of the little details that JG want him to do and learn from this film, whatever mistakes that he made. And it's all about accountability, and we got to make sure that we hold ourselves accountable first before anybody can do that. So I just really I'm just happy that he's here because he's helping us, and I'm hoping that we continue to keep staying healthy and just keep chopping. Yep. See y'all later.
Defensive end Brandon Graham, like I said, making a big return after suffering that Achilles injury in week 2 of last year. Getting him back and fully healthy. He had a great training camp. Heading into year 13 of his career, what does he add to this defense again that was perhaps missing in the back half of last season?
First of all, style and flair. You see that shirt he had on? Yeah, that was Detroit right there. Obviously, Adam BG back in his lineup, excuse me. I've always felt Brandon is one of the heartbeats of this team. Right, so his personality is infectious. I think when things aren't going well, he does a great job of uplifting his teammates. He's always positive. When they need words of encouragement, he's able to do that. And that's just him without the production. Having Brandon back out there, you didn't hear a lot from him today. Don't expect it to continue to be that way. Watching him in training camp, he looks like he's back 100%, looks a little quicker than he was prior to his injury. I think he, a lot like Fletcher, a lot like Jason Kelsey, Lane Johnson, a lot of these players who haven't been here very long, they look to those guys for what it means to be a Philadelphia Eagle, and he embodies that. So I think anytime Brandon is out there on the field, able to suit up with his teammates, it's a plus. And I thought we missed him last year. We missed that personality. We missed him in the locker room a little bit. And you know Brandon, he was trying to be a part of this as much as he could last year because that's just the type of player that he is. But we need him on that field, and it was great to see him out there today.
And obviously we know the impact he has off the field, but then on the field, we talked about it after the injury last year. It was kind of like a house of cards effect where you take him out of the rotation. Well, that impacts who's going to play inside on passing downs. That impacts who's going to play outside on early downs. And so getting him back into the fold, you add in all these other pieces that we've talked about almost ad nauseum here this summer. I'm excited to see what this defense did on film and see the kind of the snap distribution, how guys were utilized up front. But we know number 55 is a big part of that.
We have more players hitting the Twitter scene. Safety Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, he put something out on Twitter. First win as an Eagle. Like, you got to hump
I was going to say, you got to do it. You got to do it.
How would you
that was it. Wait a minute.
I think that's what he said. Both of you are younger than I am, so I think that's what he was saying.
Can we do that one more time just so we can get you on camera? Like, look at the That's what we needed. That was the way to end the show, I feel like.
I knew you were going to help me out.
Yes. I think that's what he was saying. I'm
your
not
kids
sure.
are at home hiding under the couch right now, probably embarrassed, but made our show better. That's all that matters, right? I don't even know where to go with this.
All right, on third down.
Come on, Fran, check your notes. What do you got for me?
So, to me, looking at the middle part of the game for the defense, right, I think looking at third down, what do we see? 3 straight drives of 3 and out, then the pick 6, right?
Yep.
So there's definitely going to be some good things to come out of this from the defensive film. Now, on the backside, getting into the second half, that's where Detroit was able to go 7 of 8 on third down. I know there was one drive where they converted 4 times on third down. And so that's going to be the big thing they're going to look back. Darius Slay talked about the missed opportunities with plays like that extend drives. Those are the kinds of things you want to try and limit as much as you can as a defense.
And when you have new personnel over there, there's going to be mix-ups at times, right? We talked about Chauncey being added into this frame. I'm not saying he was part of an issue back there. I'm just saying the more new faces you have back there, the more time they're going to need to know how to play off of each other. And so I expect this defense to be much better as we move forward in the season. Personnel is not the issue.
Right.
Scheme, I don't believe, is the issue. A little chemistry, a little familiarity with each other, this defense is going to be one of the better ones as the season moves forward. Jonathan Gannon has a lot of tools in that toolbox that he's going to be able to get after an offense with.
I mentioned this in the kickoff show, but Hassan Reddick said this week, on paper, we are a good defense, he said, but now it's the chemistry, it's working together so that we play like the team that we are on paper. And it doesn't sound like that big of a deal, but when you think about it, when you put it in those terms, like that's exactly what it is. You got to play like the players you are on paper.
And here's the reason why. I'm trying to tell you, when you're in the defense, we're all relying on each other to do your job. So if I expect you as a defensive lineman to be in the B gap, then you're in the B gap, and my responsibility is the A gap. Right. And if I'm a safety and I'm expecting you, the linebacker, to cover the back coming out of the backfield and not the tight end, then there shouldn't be a mix-up there. But it happens at times when everybody's trying to get familiar with the defense. I think back with Jim playing in that defense, one of the benefits we had is that we were together for years with each other, and it made us play as a unit. All
right, well, let's see what QB1 has to say. Jalen Hurts at the podium.
You're dehydrated out here. We'll wait on John. I'm gonna wait on John. Thank you, sir. Well, I think it was a hard-fought victory. And I think what I love the most about this team, just coming out here week one, playing against a new opponent, seeing a new face, how resilient we were. We talked about, not riding waves of the game, being able to control what we can. And there were times where the execution wasn't as we like it to be on both sides of the ball. But I think in the end what made the difference, we were resilient. We played together through the good, through the bad, and the ugly. And we had each other's backs. And it's always good to get a win. They had a great football team. It's clearly not the same football team we played last year. They were flying to the ball. They played very physical. They played with a next play mentality. So I have a lot of respect for them and Coach Campbell and Deuce over there.
You picked up a lot of yards, scrambles. Maybe seemed like they were blitzing you guys a lot. What did you see defensively that allowed you to do that?
It just kind of happened that way earlier in the game. I really can't tell you why. I have to watch the film, but it just kind of happened that way. So.
What was it like communicating out there? Seeing if AJ was talking, couldn't hear anything?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is I think for us, we walk away from this game and we talk about a standard for ourselves, and the standard it only rises. You know what I'm saying? And we know we didn't play to the standard that we wanted to play to consistently all this afternoon. We know we didn't meet our standard, but it's a great feeling knowing you didn't meet the standard, but you still were resilient enough, had enough dog in you to find a way to win. So in terms of the conditions, it was very loud, very smallest stadium, low roof, kind of jam-packed in there, and those fans were out there. They were loud out there, but we were able to overcome.
Now that you're one game in with A.J. Brown, what's it like being his teammate, and what did you see from him?
Yeah, it's the same old thing, man. We have great guys on the perimeter. A.J. Brown, he made plays. He made big-time plays today. And I think in the end, everybody made plays, when it mattered the most in the game. Miles getting that long run early on in the 4-minute situation, 2-minute situation, being able to convert the first down on the quarterback sneak. I mean, those are pivotal plays in the game, and AJ made a lot of plays that gave us a lot of momentum. So.
Did you get the lobby for that quarterback sneak, or was that you guys were definitely going?
I mean, we called it, we went with it, and we rolled with it. So we got the first down. It's all good.
What significance do you see from all three running backs scoring, including Miles and yourself?
I think everybody's just being ready when the opportunity comes. Miles getting him involved in the game, letting him do what he does, and Kenny in Boston too. So I just think having a mentality of, hey, when my opportunity comes, how do I respond to it? And I think we had that mentality as a team at every position.
What kind of effect does it have on the offense when they keep coming back, keep scoring? Is it pressure off of you guys, changing your approach at all?
No, it's not about them. It's never about them. It's always about us and what we do, how we do it. Are we doing it to the standard that we uphold to and we challenge ourselves to do it to? And that's my whole entire mindset throughout the game. That's our whole entire mindset throughout the game. So it's a lot to learn from. It's a lot to learn from. But we take it, you know. It's week one. A lot of crazy stuff happening across the league in all these games. And, you know, I go back and I watch Channel View, my high school team play a couple of weeks ago, last week. And it's like you see the same mistakes at every level of football. The same mistakes. High school, college, NFL, you know, and those are things that we have to learn from if we want to be the team we want to be. So we just have to learn from it.
You had a couple early slides where it seemed like they may have still peaked and you gave yourself up. How are you guys approaching that, and what happened on the one in which you were, if they did finally flag?
They called it. You know, it's not the first time it's going to happen. It's probably not the last time it's going to happen. Just come with the game. I get right back up and keep going next play.
How do you feel after those hits, and do you worry about the cumulative effect of
I don't.
On the second drive, what started clicking in your passing game, and those two quick passes to AJ, what back did those plays play?
And I think that's an example of doing stuff. That's the perfect example of us doing stuff to our standard. You know, that's what it is. You know, and I think that's what we challenge ourselves to do, and that's what we're going to continue to challenge ourselves to do. The standard is a standard, and it only rises. So, you know, everybody has to go out there and dominate their box, do what they have to do to put in the result for the team. You know, it's a lot to learn from. Different situations in the game that came up, we have to do a better job as a crew, as a team. So we just take the steps and learn from it. But, you know, as much as we can learn from this, as much stuff we have to learn, as much stuff as we have to learn from this game, a lot of takeaways from this game, it's better to be, we won. And that was a really good team out there, a hard, tough team, and they played hard, and we found a way to win in the end.
Take two more. What time for two more?
When you look at how many ways you guys were able to move the ball on offense, what does that say about the offense's potency, this season? What do you think about it?
I think for us, it's again. I think it's about us in the end. And I think if we can be consistent and play to the standard that we strive to play to, that's how it'll look. We weren't. It wasn't this. It wasn't. It didn't meet my standards today. It didn't. I'll just say that. So there's always more out there. We're going to go to work. We're going to work our tails off to continue to take a step, make progress, grow.
Let's throw the ball away when you to save a sack. When you look back at how many times you did that today.
Yeah, I think we had a lot of. I think we had a lot of kind of broken plays, a lot of throwaways. You know, as a quarterback, that is the best play. Sometimes you have to throw the ball away, but you like to avoid putting yourself in that position. So those are things that I have to learn from. Everybody on offense, coaches, everybody. So for me, the ball touches my hand every play, and I just want to make sure the team is in the best position. So I'll go watch the film and learn from what I can. And move forward and grow from it next week for sure.
Okay, thanks, John. Thanks, guys. We got to get to the buses. Thanks, John.
That was quarterback Jalen Hurts, and we'll have plenty of other sound from players inside the locker room that you can find on all of our social platforms. Well, earlier today, Fran broke down that big pick six from James Bradberry. Here is his Ricoh extra point.
All right, so for this week's Ricoh review, I want to take a look back to the first half and a pick six from James Bradberry, the first of his career. How did it happen? Why did it happen? Let's take a look here at the film because we're going to start with this up front. And one of the big matchups coming into this game, we talked about it on the kickoff show, the Detroit Lions right guard, going up against the Eagles' defensive tackles. Now, they lost Big V. Halapoulivaati Vaitai went on injury reserve last week. Their backup, Tommy Kramer, he popped up on the injury report this week. He was out for this game. So the Lions going in with their third-string right guard. And if you watch here on this play, he is going to get beat. That's Logan Stenberg going up against Marlon Tuipulotu, the second-year defensive tackle for the Eagles, who had a good summer and earned his way onto the 53-man roster. You're going to see Marlon Tuipulotu is going to get a nice clean win here and beat the inside stab. So we're going to let this run real quick, and you're going to see Tuipulotu, he's going to win right off the ball. And right off the bat, you're going to see that there is a white jersey right in front of Jared Goff's face. So Goff feels that there is pressure coming. So this ball has got to come out hot. He wants to hit the tight end, T.J. Hockenson, who's running a little bit of a double move here. It looks like he's going to sell to the stick and then work upfield on a nod route. Now, Jared Goff, he's putting this right here on the stick route. He's trying to get the ball out fast to Hockenson. But you see the Eagles, they're playing in some pattern match, soft zone coverage here. All eyes on the quarterback. And watch Kaiser White. You could see that not only is he impacting Hockenson here, but he's got his eyes on the quarterback. So he's going to see this throw the whole way. Bradbury, eyes on the quarterback. It's 2nd and 16. So you've got all eyes there watching the football, rally to the football once it's thrown, and we can let this run. And you can see as soon as the ball comes out of Goff's hands, you've got white jerseys at the football. Good things happen when you run to the ball. And then look at the pursuit here from the rest of the Eagles defense. They help guide Bradbury into the end zone. Again, his first pick six of his career. Good team effort there. Starts with the rush from Marlon Tuipulotu. Good eyes there from Kaiser White in coverage. Deflects the football. You have bodies around the football, population of the ball. It results in a pick six. Going the other way for the Eagles. They take the lead. Really nice job there from the defense in the first half.
Toyota Player of the Week. Here we go. Our 3 nominees. James Bradbury, we've been talking about him all day with that pick six. He's our nominee number 1. Next up, another new Eagle, A.J. Brown, his 155 receiving yards, averaging 15.5 yards per catch. And number 3, quarterback Jalen Hurts, 243 passing yards, 17 carries, and 90 yards on the ground. Of course, capped off with that touchdown. What do you guys think? Bradbury, Brown, or Hurts?
I'm going to throw a curveball at you guys.
Oh.
Not going defense. And guess what? QB want to have multiple times to win Player of the Week. I got to go with the newbie, A.J. Brown. Great debut. Ties his career single-game record for receiving yards, 155 yards. Outstanding. A.J. Brown. Welcome to the nest.
A record-setting day for number 11 for A.J. Brown. I think you go safely with him as the pick for us here on the desk. We'll see how our viewers and how our fans think when the week is done.
Get your votes in and vote for your Toyota Player of the Week. All right, Jameson Nightcap. It's going to be Monday Night Football in South Philadelphia. The Minnesota Vikings are coming to town. Kirk Cousins, you got a new regime in Minnesota. What do you guys think's going down?
Well, it'll be a tough game, I tell you. This will be another good test for the Eagles. You know, Kirk Cousins is a professional quarterback. Doesn't wow you with his play, but typically makes the correct play. And he has a nice little plethora of weapons on the offensive side of the ball as well. So Monday night, South Philly home opener should be another good test for our defense. Hopefully the total won't be 70-plus points, but I expect it to be a lot of points from the Midnight Green.
Leading the Packers right now in the second quarter, and this is a team that's going to have a new look. Like you mentioned, new regime, Ella. I would expect that they're going to be a lot more wide open from a pass game standpoint. Expect a lot more 3-receiver sets and throwing the ball from Kirk Cousins as opposed to that run-first attack we've seen in years past led by Dalvin Cook.
Keeping it in the NFC North 2 weeks in a row.
That's
it.
Yeah. Man, wish we got it. Never mind.
On that note, because who knows what's coming out of Ike's mouth next, we're going to wrap it up here on the Postgame Show presented by Ricoh.
Sorry.
Please join us next week. Monday night, we'll have you covered on the kickoff show and then right back here on the Postgame Show to break it all down for you Eagles fans. For myself, Fran Duffy, and Ike Reese, have a great night and go Birds.